Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For today's video, I'm going to show you the newest hair tool that I've added to my collection, and it is the Shark Flex Style. I'm going to walk you through the device itself, some of the features, we're going to try it out for the very first time on camera, and I'm also going to compare it to the Dyson Airwrap Complete Set that I've had over the last 4 years. So if that interests you, keep on watching. So I got out of the shower about 10-ish minutes ago and have been air drying my hair. It's just half up, half down right now to keep it a little bit tamed. But if you couldn't tell, my hair is naturally very curly and frizzy, and I do have extensions. So there's a few different things we're dealing with here when blow drying my hair. Right now, I'm gonna do my pre-blow drying hair routine. It pretty much stays the same. I'm just missing one product because I ran out of it, which is my K18 kind of leave-in. But what I'm gonna do instead is going to be the Olaplex number 6 Bond Smoother. It's a leave-in conditioner, so we're going to use this one instead. And then what I'm going to use is my Color Wow Extra Strength. So this is really good if you have super frizzy hair. You want to apply it on damp hair. You can apply it on dry hair. I just find that it can make your hair really greasy. So I apply this on my damp hair in layers, and I brush out the layers. And what activates this is actually heat. So as you're blow drying, this is actually being activated, and I do notice less frizz since using this. So we're gonna dive into these, and then we're gonna get right into trying out the Flex Style. I look crazy, but I'm so excited to use the Shark Flex Style. So now that we've applied all those products, I'm just gonna allow my hair to dry to 80%, then we will dive right in. Doing a voiceover to tell you about the different attachments I got and the features. So we have the auto curl barrels that are actually labeled left and right, making it super easy. Then the round brush attachment that has 2 types of bristles. One looks to be plastic, the other one is more hair-like. And then we have the paddle brush for smoothing with the same bristles as the round brush. This is the actual Flex Style base in the limited edition spearmint color. The power button is at the bottom, and then we have the heat button with 3 different settings. Next is the fan, which also comes with 3 different settings. And last but not least, we have my favorite button, the cold shot, which will keep your style lasting long. In the back, you have this button. You would click down and swivel the head of the actual device itself to just blow dry your entire head. You can then attach your attachment, and there's a button on the back to unlock the attachment to switch. is what my hair is looking like after finishing off with the Shark Flex Style. So let's sit down and talk about the Shark Flex Style, and maybe I can compare it to the Dyson Airwrap Complete set that I have, that I reviewed a couple years ago and I still use to this day. And then I will give you my final thoughts. Now that I'm sitting down, we can finally get into details about the Shark Flex Style. The one that I got is the limited edition Spearmint Shark Flex Style. It's just the color that is limited edition, not the actual device itself. But the device that I got is kind of like a build your own, where you get the base and you get to choose 3 attachments that you want for the base. The standard Shark Flex Styles do come with about 4 or 5 attachments, I believe, whereas mine comes with 3, and those again are selected by me, and they all run around the same price, around $300. So I wanted to touch on some of the criteria that I went in with when trying the Flex Style for the very first time. So the first thing is the features. So some of the features I kind of already talked about at the beginning of this video, but it does come with heat settings. So you have 3 different levels, 3 different fan levels. You also have the cold shot, your on button here, and then you have kind of the top that swivels over so that you can just blow dry your hair that way if you want to kind of rough dry it. And then it also does come with cleaning brush, and again the 3 attachments that I chose because I got the kind of build your own Flex Style. Since I do have a build your own hair dryer, this basically comes with everything that I need. So in terms of functionality and the features, it meets my expectations. This is a very lightweight hair dryer. As I was going through and doing my hair, I didn't feel that my arm was getting tired or anything. It actually is quite light. I think it's maybe a little bit lighter than my Dyson Airwrap. In terms of the noise, it is just as noisy as the Dyson Airwrap, but I did find myself getting super used to the sound anyways because I use the Dyson. But as you go, you kind of just get used to the noise. So I kind of already went into detail about the attachments that I chose for the Flex Style, but I thought I would kind of compare them to the Dyson ones since those ones I've used the most, and tell you which one of the Flex Style attachments were my favorite. So let's talk about the auto curl barrels here. So I love the fact that you just can get one, whether you have short or long hair, this is going to work for you. They are pretty long. I also really like the fact that it tells you left and right to make it very easy when it comes to curling your hair. You don't have to guess which one is which. I also found that these curled my hair very quickly, and I actually really like the way it turned out. I can't really talk about how long the curls last because this is my first time using them, but I will keep you guys updated, so be sure to follow me on Instagram and I will post an update there. To compare them to the Dyson Airwrap ones, the Dyson ones are a little bit lighter. So with the Airwrap Complete set, you do get 2 sets of barrels. You get these ones here that are more for loose curls, and then you get thinner ones that are more for tighter curls. In terms of the length of them, I think you could choose between long and short. I have the long ones for my long hair. I feel like the Shark ones perform better than the Dyson ones. Now my favorite attachment has to be the round brush. I feel like the round brush does wonders for my hair. I feel like it really blow dries my hair straight and sleek, which is why I really like it. I also really like it because it has 2 types of bristles. So you have like the more plasticky ones, and then you have the more hair-like ones, and I feel like the hair-like ones really grab onto my hair, like in a gentle way, of course. It did a really great job. It also got really close to my root, which I need, especially when you have extensions or if you have curly hair, you want something that's going to get right to the root, and this did a really good job. To compare it to the Dyson one, and please do not mind the hair that's in these, the Dyson one only has these plasticky bristles, which I find does pull my hair out a lot more than this one. But I also do think this one is really good for getting right to the root and smoothing out your hair. So it's really about what kind of bristles you want. Also, the Shark attachment is a little bit bigger than the Dyson one, but they both equally do a really good job. The last attachment I have that I used today was the paddle brush. Again, it has the same type of bristles, so you have the plasticky bristles and the hair-like bristles. To be honest, because of my extensions, it is really hard to use a paddle brush like this because I cannot get close to my root. I can't grab my natural hair and my extensions together, so it is a little bit difficult to use. But I feel like if you don't have extensions, this is going to be really good for you to make your hair look even more sleek because of the hair-like bristles inside. I also do have this in the Dyson side, which I really like. I like the fact that it has like the plastic bristles, but it has the little ball at the end, which makes it actually very nice to tame the hair. I just don't have it on hand right now, but it is pretty good. I just don't find myself reaching for this type of attachment as often as I do with the round brush, for example. And you might be asking, well, why did you choose the paddle brush if it's not something that you wouldn't typically reach for? To be honest, the other options were an oval brush, which kind of reminds me already of the round brush. And I didn't need the diffuser. I didn't need I think it's the attachment where it's like that thin, kind of looks like a duck beak. I didn't need that either, because I just let my hair either dry naturally or in a towel. So this made the most sense for me. Once I get my extensions out though, this is going to be a game changer for me. Another criteria I wanted to talk about was price point and kind of thinking about the overall experience that I had. Obviously, this is just my first time using it, so we can't base whether you should buy this or not on just one experience. And that's why I'm going to keep you guys updated on Instagram. And eventually, when I continuously use this and find tips and tricks, I will definitely share those tips and tricks here. But for now, the Shark is around $300, which is a considerable difference to the Dyson Airwrap Complete Set, which is around $700. You are somewhat getting the same amount of attachments with the Dyson Airwrap as you are with the regular Shark, and still getting a discount with the Shark. If I had to compare the two, I feel like they are very, very similar. The only difference I notice is in the attachments themselves. They are a little bit bigger. The Shark is just slightly less heavy than the Airwrap. I do like from the Shark that you kind of have those two types of bristles with the brushes, whereas you don't really get that with the Dyson. And again, the curls I think on the Shark are a little bit better than the Airwrap, but again, I can't talk about longevity, so you'll have to wait for that update. My overall thoughts is that I actually really enjoyed using the Shark. I feel like I love the fact that it's lightweight. I really like the curls with the barrels. I could see myself using these a lot more than I do with my Dyson. I think with the Shark and the Dyson, there is a little bit of a learning curve. It's not something that you're just going to take out of the box and be able to use. It kind of takes time for you to learn how to use each of the attachments. So don't get discouraged if you use your Shark and you feel like you don't like it. It does take time to learn how to use the curlers, of course. You're not just going to attach it here and then expect your curls to last and for your hair to automatically latch on to the curler. It does take a little bit finessing. I'm kind of used to these type of curlers because I've been using the Dyson, but if you go back and watch my Dyson video from a couple of years ago, you do see that it does take time. I do mention there that there is a little bit of a learning curve. It did take me a while to learn how to use the barrels, and that again is something that you'll have to learn with the Shark. Anyways, that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching me blow dry my hair for the first time with the Shark Flex Style. I really enjoyed my experience. I'm excited to continue using it, but I will see you in my next video. Ciao for now.